Hey YouTube, welcome back to our last series of our last episode or our last video of our series design a notification system. Today we will talk about the wrap up. Maybe you can talk about some improvements. I don't know if we have a time we will talk. Otherwise, we will not be able to talk. It just depends on the actual time that we have. So in the wrap up, um let me give me a minute. I will just close the window because like there is a loud voice coming from the window right now. Okay. So let's continue. So in the wrap up, basically, I will just try to make a small introduction or small recap for all the last three videos. So our interview question started with design and notification system, and as we always say that um, the the system design interview questions always start with the open-ended question, and our job as an interviewee is to make sure that we ask for clarification questions to make sure that what we exactly are designing. So you can think in the system design interview, it's testing your knowledge of how system works, and the second, how you communicate with your colleague. So you expect that the interviewer is your colleague in this interview, and third, how you manage your time and how you build a plan for your goals. So this is the four things that you should just make sure you succeed in all of them to be able to have a successful system design interview. So in order to do this, we have four steps. First, we have the first step is to understand the problem. And in understanding the problem, we want to ask some clarifications questions to know what exactly we are designing. Based on our questions, we will know our requirements. And from our requirements, we will propose a high level design. And after that, we will get a deep dive into specific components. And in the end, we will wrap up everything and maybe suggest some improvements. Okay, so as the first step, understanding the problem, we said that we want to ask between to oh, 5 to 10 questions, and the 10 questions or 5 questions, they have big a specific formula. So we created this formula. First of all, we want to know what we are designing. So if I don't know what is a notification system, this will be my first question. What, like, for example, if someone asks me, design TikTok, let's say that I don't know what is TikTok. So, or design YouTube, and I don't know what is YouTube. So I'll say, what is YouTube? What is TikTok? What is this? The second question that you always should ask, what are the devices that we are supporting? The third and the fourth questions, they maybe need to ask more than one question in order to understand them. For example, how the system work. So give me a minute to make sure that I'm reading the script right. So for example, I want to know how the system works. So I could ask, um, what triggers the notifications? Um, will the user be able to opt out from the notifications? Maybe I'll ask, is it a real-time system? Like, it's like the notification, the how the system function or how the system work. It's a question that maybe like you put this specific category in like 3 to 4 questions. Just make sure about that. The last one is, how is the scale of the system? So, for example, you can ask, um, how many notifications do we send per day? Or maybe you have a timeline, so ask how many daily active user we have per, how many daily active user we have. So from these four, it's not 4 questions. Like maybe you can think of them like 7 to 10 questions, depends on how complicated the system that you are designing is. And when you finish all of your questions, don't assume that you've done it right. You have to ask for clarification. Like you said, yes, do I have to ask for something else? Is there something I'm missing? And from questions, you will get to your requirements. And in your requirements, it's the most important thing. When you put your requirements, you ask again for clarifications. Are all the requirements did I put all of the requirements? Does these requirements that I have put satisfy the requirements in your head? Do they match? Is there something I'm missing? You should ask for clarifications each time, because if you did this specific step wrong, the interview is done. Just done. So you should just make this step right. So after that, we talk about propose a high-level design. And in proposing a high-level design, we talked about three concepts or three categories. The first one, we talk about the different type of notifications. We talk about, we have iOS, we have Android, we have SMS, and we have email. I will not go through all of them because there is a video talking them in detail. We talk about contact info and how basically we will gather this contact info, and by creating a database and etc. We also talk about the sending and receiving flow and this is the flow actually, but this is the improved version of the design. And we talked about the service. The service maybe could be a virtual machine, maybe could be a third party, could be anything. Sends a notification to send a request to notification server, and notification servers have let's not talk about the rate limiting and authentication right now because it's in the deep dive. The notification servers take the response and send it to the third parties, and the third parties send it directly to the iOS. And after that, we talked about that we can make some improvements by adding message queues and workers to make sure that if we have any field notifications, we will retry it and we send it back to the notification to the message queue to make sure that we don't have any bottleneck and we don't overload our system. So after that, we started to talk about going deep dive into our system, and let's just see where's the deep dive. Yeah, and in the deep dive, we talked about three main categories. The first one is the reliability, and the second one we talked about some additional components, and after that we updated our system design. So when we talk about our reliability, we said that we must answer a few important questions about reliability. First of all, how to prevent data loss. So one of the most important requirements in this notification system is that it cannot lose any data. As we said before, notifications can usually be delayed or reordered but never lost. And to satisfy this requirement, the notification system persists notification data in a database and implements a retry mechanism to make sure that we have no loss at all. And we will have another problem that we could maybe receive the notification more than once. And we talk about in order to solve this problem is that we will before like although the notification is delivered exactly once most of the time, the distributed nature could result in duplication notification. And to reduce this one, to reduce the duplication, we introduce a detube mechanism and handle each failure case carefully. Like, for example, when a notification event first arrives, we check if it is seen before by checking the event ID. If it is seen before, it is discarded. Otherwise, we will send it out notification. We'll send out the notification for interest and if you wanna talk more, if you wanna know more about this, I could just send you some links in the description. I don't know if I'll do that or not. Maybe I will not. But if I just remembered, I will just send it. I'll put the links talks about how the retry, how make sure that we don't have duplication, and how this specific area works. Um, Maybe we can talk about and after that we talk about the additional components. We talked about the template, notification templates, and we said that it's important for us to create a notification template because we have a lot of authentications. They share the same information, or maybe they have the same module, the same formula. So we just create a template, and we make each notification pretty unique by parameters and variables, that we are passing with it. After that, we talk about the notification settings, and we said that into the notification settings we want to give yeah, let's talk about that. After that, we talk about the notification settings, and we said that in settings we want to give the user the ability to control whether if or not he wants to receive a notification or not by creating a table. This table have the user ID, the channel, and the channel means with which channel does the user connecting with us, SMS, email, etc., or whatever it is. And after that, we have maybe like opt-in row that talks, it's boolean, talks of true or false. So if it's true, we can send notification, otherwise we can send. We have a rate limiting, and by the rate limiting, the number of the notification, because actually some users could feel overwhelmed by sending too many notifications of them. So we just put some rate limiting to prevent that from happening. We have the retry mechanism, and you said that when a third-party service fails to send notification, the notification will be added to the message queue for retrying. If the problem persists again, an alert will be sent to the developers. Maybe like we create a ticket for a ticket in Scrum or something like that, so they can fix it. We talked about the security and security in push notifications. So for example, for iOS and Android apps, we use app key and app secret are used to secure push notifications APIs. Only authenticated user or verified clients are allowed to send push notification using our APIs. And yeah, we talked about also the monitoring. So the monitoring, it's basically a key metric to monitor is the total number of queued notifications. If the number is large, the notifications events are not processed fast enough by workers to avoid delay notifications. To avoid into delay notifications, more workers are needed or are added. We talk about the event tracking, and we said that notifications metrics such as open rate, click rate, and engagement are important in understanding customers' behaviors. Analytics service implements events tracking integration between the notification system and the analytics service is usually required. So, for example, we have start. Let's see that this is example. We have start. The notification will be pending if it's sent. Okay, error something else. We have a client, and we have maybe the client may be clicked or unsubscribed to this notification. So we talked about the full design here, and we said that notification. So from the beginning, the notification servers are equipped with two more critical features. From, I guess it's not two more critical features, because right now you just see the full system design, because actually I'm reading from yesterday's script. So right now we have the client is connecting with the notification service. We have a rate limiting authentication to secure security. We have cache and DB, and also this notification is built on it's scale out, so we can just make sure that we can scale out as much as we want. We save the notification in the DB, and also we save it in the cache. The rate limiting and the authentication make sure it's secure. The rate limiting makes sure that we don't have prevents too much reloads. We send the request to the message queue. The message queue, the workers fetch the request from the message queue and try to send it to the third parties. If it didn't work, we will try again. the workers pull from a notification template and notification log to make sure that we don't have any duplication in the notification. And after that, we send to the third parties, and third parties send to the client. And we have here analytics service that we connected with applications to make sure that to study the user's behaviors. So notifications are indispensable because they keep us posted with important information. It could be a push notification about your favorite movie on Netflix, an email about discounts on new products, or a message about your online shopping payment confirmation. And in this series, we describe the design of a scalable notification system that supports multiple notification formats, push notifications, SMS messages, and email. We adopt message queues to decouple system components. So there is besides the high level design, we dug deep into more components and optimization. We talked about reliability, we talked about security, we talked about tracking and monitoring. We respect the user settings. We talked about rate limiting, and yeah, that's it. We finished our series. I hope my description was quite good. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will never miss a video. And if you think my description was good enough, just feel free to give me a comment, tell me about what exactly you didn't like, so I can prepare it in the future and not make this mistake again. So that's it for this video, and see you in future problems.